Welcome to the inaugural episode of Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Patholkas, and tonight we're going to be talking about Elseworlds. Elseworlds episodes 1, 2, and 3. These have already premiered. And before I go any further, of course, spoilers are going to be abound. So if you haven't watched them yet, go and watch them first, then come on back and you can watch the episode afterwards. As I'm starting out this channel here, I of course have to have this thing recorded first. So unfortunately, it's not live and I can't answer any questions until afterwards. You guys can actually post stuff in the comments. So to get started, Elseworlds, if you don't know, is based on the DC Comics. It's part of the CW shows that we have with Flash, Green Arrow, everything except for Black Lightning and Legends of Tomorrow were in this one, in this episode. Black Lightning does not exist in these universes at the moment, but Legends of Tomorrow does. And they had a nice little homage, if you will, or a nice little aside saying why they didn't show up, because they have their own magical problems going on right now. So I'm not going to go over this thing beat by beat. I'm just going to say pretty much what I enjoyed, what I didn't enjoy, things like that, and we'll get to it from there. So one of the things I did find kind of funny is once that we have Barry and Oliver switch places, and they are the same people that they are. They recognize themselves as Barry and Oliver. But everyone else sees them as the Flash and Green Arrow. You know, they've switched places, if you will, even though they haven't switched bodies. So there's a couple of mentions of Freaky Friday versus, swapping bodies, that kind of thing, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, that kind of stuff. And it was pretty funny. One of the things that they did kind of mention that I've talked about before is talking about feelings in hallways. And at one point, Oliver, who is now Barry, is in the hallway, and everyone stops and looks outside the hallway and goes, "Oh, do you want to talk about your feelings now? You know, you're out here in the hallway." And I thought that was kind of funny that they actually acknowledged that, because a lot of people have actually acknowledged this in different reviews and podcasts, things like that. So basically, what has happened is the worlds are different Earths are being tested by a being, because we don't know exactly why to begin with. And he's given this book of destiny to a demented doctor to rewrite reality as we know it. And that's why Barry and Oliver have switched places. And in the first episode, of course, they end up going to Gotham City and meeting Batwoman, who is Kate Kane. Yeah, I know, the alliteration, Bruce, like Matt Murdock, that kind of thing. Only in this case, it's Kate Kane. I thought it was kind of interesting as well. And Batman does not exist. Or he does exist, but he is off doing whatever. So we are led to believe that this actually might be the Christopher Nolan. Thanks for that phone, the horn that was going off there. This led it to be the Christopher Nolan Batman universe, is what we were looking at. In the meantime, we have Barry and Oliver go over to Earth 38 as well, and they, to get some help after basically some stuff gets sussed out, where they get knocked out, thrown into the cells at Star Labs, and escape, and finally, convince people they are who they are before they go over to Earth 38 and get Kara's help, Supergirl. And in this universe, we finally find out that Supergirl is actually in the Smallville universe. Yes, the Tom Welling universe. This has actually now been confirmed that that's going on, which I thought was kind of interesting as well. So all in all, the first episode is actually really good. It ends with, of course, reality being rewritten again, and these guys becoming the Trigger Twins is what this is. A group of non-superpowered bad guys, if you will, and then having, of course, to basically outsmart Superman now at this point, which the Doctor has actually rewritten himself as Superman. Superman isn't in this in that world at this time, Actually, it's kind of funny. The Arrowverse doesn't have a version of Superman. They have a Batman, but they don't have a Superman. They also don't have a Supergirl. These are all both Earth 38's versions. So they had met Superman because he had come over with Kara in the first episode there, and that's where he got the idea of becoming Superman, the Doctor. And of course, he's in the black suit and trying to stop Barry and Oliver from defeating him, of course. And in the meantime, the Monitor has essentially, he's trying to test these Earths. We're trying to figure out why he's doing it, and it turns out that he says there's a crisis that's coming, and that he's testing these Earths to see if they can basically stand up to it, is what's going on. And what this is all leading up to, of course, is going to be Crisis on Infinite Earths, is what we've got going on. So it, all in all, it was a fun, 3 episodes. The second episode kind of dragged a little bit in the middle there, but what do you want? It's 3 hours long. Actually, it was more than 3 hours long, and it dragged a bit in the middle, but it was a lot of fun. That was one thing I liked about this, is they're actually having fun with what they're doing. Yes, it's a little bit tongue-in-cheek. A lot of it's more or less kind of like the 70s DC comics in a way, but in a really fun way. So if you get a chance to go and take a look at it, you can actually watch it for free. It's on the CW app right now. You can actually watch that along with all the other CW shows. And sure, it doesn't have Constantine and all those guys in there. Again, the Legends weren't involved in this. As they say, they kept making little asides, even within the Elseworlds episodes, that this is an annual event. Yes, it is very meta, very tongue-in-cheek. And if you don't have a sense of humor about it, don't watch it. I mean, that's all I can say about that. So other than that, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments, and I will look forward to reading them and answering you guys. And also check us out at suspendedfanimation.com, and you can also check me out on Twitter. I've got Suspended Fanimation there as well, and on Instagram, and on Facebook as well. So I'm pretty much everywhere there. Other than that, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you might find yourself in a different universe as a different person. Talk to you later, everyone. Night.